Texting. Mayday, mayday, mayday. There's a ship, a boat. It looks like 8 rings. It looks like it's going down off the coast of Nantucket. Yes, that'd be for you Bill Belichick ball washers out there. The ship is going down, and down like the Titanic. Welcome back to segment 2 of IDD. For those who know, I don't disagree. The highly questionable on RJ Miliaccio flying solo on this Friday. Gorgeous. By the way, I can talk about this. Quick weather recap. 75 degrees down here in the Commonwealth. Sun popped out this afternoon. Worked on some basketball with the kids, with my son, little meat, sauce 1 and our meatball 1, meatball 2. That was John, Izzo, and Anthony, and their running mate there, Brody. Worked on some hoops in the driveway for their game tomorrow with Coach Tom. And we'll see what happens tomorrow if it helps them out. But segment 2, all things Bill Belichick. Yeah. Believe it or not, I wish I wasn't right about this. I wish I wasn't, because he was a Patriot for 24 years. And he was a big part of what happened there. And I'm forever grateful for that. I said that on my send-off to him, my tribute, where I told him to go find a team and go get a ring. Just don't make it New York. I would extend that to Dallas, okay? Any New York team, or the Cowboys or the Niners. Go to a team. See, Atlanta to me would have been great, because Atlanta's never won anything. I would love to see, or the Chargers, because they never won anything. Like, to me, that would really enhance Belichick's legacy, because if he goes to a team that's a perpetual loser and turns into a winner, that has staying power. That's lasting. If he goes to Dallas, who's already won 5 rings and has that owner who can't shut his mouth even when he's asleep, for Christ's sake, well, what is that? I mean, they've already got their rosters all set, okay? And again, I don't think Bill Belichick should be shopping for the groceries. I have been adamant about that forever. But clearly, he didn't get the Falcons job because he wanted autonomy. He wanted total power. And this tells me he's every bit the delusional narcissist egomaniac that I said he was. Because why he would think, after how he ended in New England, he got fired, ladies and gentlemen. This was not a parting of the ways. That was Robert Kraft trying to be a class act. Okay? He fired the man. He did. He fired the man. It's come out, and I said it. And I said it before it went public. He never got over the fact that he pushed Brady out the door. He convinced Kraft that Brady was done, and Brady goes and wins the fucking Super Bowl. And I said, there's no way Robert Kraft isn't pissed about that. Well, here it comes. It's coming out now. He was pissed about it. He held it over his head, and he should have. Tom Brady should have retired a Patriot. Stephen A. Smith hops on the bandwagon 3 years too late and tells everyone, I have it on good intel. Thank you. You're welcome, Steve. That the fans up in Boston, the diehards up there, they'll never forgive that man for pushing the golden boy out the door. Again, you're welcome, Steve. Okay, I was saying that 3 years ago. You're welcome, Steve. Okay, so the thing is, yeah, all of it was true. It wasn't me being a wackadoodle fan who's reaching, who's trying to paint a picture. No. It's exactly what happened. It happened exactly the way I said it went down. And now, the rest of this league is holding it against Belichick. And Belichick, to his own detriment, okay, because he's so blind, he still thinks it's him. They met with him twice. And after the second meeting, they were convinced he wasn't the guy for the job, because he was going to clean house. And it's now coming out that, and again, I get a coach wanting to pick their coaching staff. That's all well and good. But listen to the names. Josh McDaniels, who just got fired at midseason for the second time, only coach ever to do that. There's a record you don't want. He got fired by 2 teams in the middle of a season. First Denver, then the Raiders. That's not a guy, and again, I'm not saying he's not a good offensive coordinator, but that's not a guy that's going to, blow up anybody's skirt. And Matt Patricia. Matt fucking Patricia. Are you fucking kidding me, Bill? Again, he's either stupid or he's an egomaniac. And everyone says he's a genius when it comes to X's and O's, and I wouldn't argue that, which tells me the man's ego is even bigger. If I'm the Atlanta owner and I hear those 2 names are coming in here, why on earth would I hire Bill Belichick? Forget wanting the GM role for a second and the fact that he's drafted 2 Pro Bowls in the last 10 years. One's a punter, one's a kick returner. Forget all that shit for a second. He wants to bring those 2 in as part of his staff, as his offensive and defensive coordinator, after what those 2 have done? Arthur Blank should have run from that. And he did. And whether it was, and look, for the people that that say, oh, well, he's still Bill Belichick. Listen, no one questions the man's football in terms of X's and O's and preparing a team. Okay? But if you're Atlanta, okay, you have a young team that's maybe a quarterback away. Well, he can't pick the quarterback. We've seen that. He can destroy one, though. We've seen that. Okay? So you got to get the quarterback right. He cannot be involved in that process, and he wants to be the final say in that process. You cannot hire this man. If that's his sticking point, the answer is no. And no one, not Ben Simmons, not Mike Greenberg, not Rex, not anyone should have a problem with that, because the track record is as long as the day is. You got to be kidding me. As a GM, as a guy who makes personal decisions, Bill Belichick can't do that. Okay, and then there's the other elephant in the room, and Ryan Clark brought this up this morning. We've been saying this. The game hasn't passed him by, but he's lost touch with these players. The reason he was able to stay in touch with these players for as long as he did was Tom Brady. Tom Brady was his messenger in the locker room. Tom Brady was the soldier, was the knight that got everybody in line, was the guy who extended, hey, look, he's a little weird, but just listen to the man. He'll set you up for success. And it's Tom fucking Brady. Danny Amendola said it on the video that's coming out now about the Patriots dynasty. We worked for Bill. We played for Tom. That quote right there tells you it was Tom Brady. It was the Brady way, not the Patriot way. Right there, Danny Amendola said it. And Julian Edelman didn't refute it. Okay? We worked for Bill. We played for Tom. When Bill ran Tom out the door, he lost his mouthpiece. It's a fact. Okay? That's why one of the many reasons why Tom Brady is the GOAT. Okay? And Tom Brady at 43 in a COVID year goes to a new team, new offense with no offseason, and then goes and wins another Super Bowl when he's past his prime? And he beats Breeze, Rodgers, and this guy Mahomes, whoever keeps saying is better than Brady already, at 43? If Tom Brady can beat Patrick Mahomes at 43, what could he have done to him if he's 30? Give me a fucking break. Talk about stupid, okay? But anyway, the people that are saying this about Mahomes, they need they're drinking Drano. They're all idiots. Because a 6-year sample size doesn't add up to a 23-year-old sample size. Okay, talk to me again in 10 years. Discussion over on that one. Because if you want that evidence, I'll put you to sleep with all that shit. All right, the bottom line is this. Bill Belichick is his own worst enemy right now because he will not come down off of cloud 9. Okay? He still thinks it's him. He still thinks it's all him. And that Brady it was all Brady. Okay? Or he's the one who developed Brady. I keep saying this. You talk to anybody who was at Ann Arbor when Brady was there, and they will paint you a picture of a man who was going to be a success no matter where he went, because he had what Belichick couldn't teach. And this does not get talked about enough. Tom Brady internally had what Belichick couldn't teach. You can't teach. I've been a coach for 22 years. I can trust me. You cannot teach desire. You cannot teach work ethic. You cannot teach competitiveness. You cannot teach drive. You can motivate. Motivation lasts, best case, maybe 72 hours. You can motivate somebody for a couple of days, but drive is a whole different animal, and that comes from within, and a coach doesn't make you do that. You either have that or you don't. It's just that simple. And I can go through the litany of athletes in my lifetime alone that will back me up on this. Okay, from Bird to Jordan to Kobe, okay, to Brady, obviously, David Ortiz. Okay, I can go on and on and on about the athlete. Patrice Bergeron, just in Boston, okay? But the NBA is a slew of these greats. Magic Johnson, these guys are self-made. They have what you can't teach, okay? And they make any coach look good, okay? Bill Belichick owes his entire Hall of Fame career as head coach to Tom Brady, whether he wants to admit it or not, okay? Because without him, he's 103 and 84, okay? That's a 10-year sample size. That stinks, America. It stinks. It stinks like the skunk that ran through my yard earlier today. Stinks. Okay? So no one is looking at that resume without Tom Brady, because I got to tell you, they are looking at it, which is why Atlanta is the only team that has come knocking. And Bill Belichick's going to have to sit on the bench. He's going to have to go back to Nantucket for a year, because I don't see, there's only 2 spots open, Washington and Seattle. Neither team is looking at him. Okay, Washington's not ready to win right now. They're not one player away. They've got new ownership, but they have to figure themselves out. Okay, Bill Belichick is not going to go in there with Magic Johnson and those guys and just coach. Bill Belichick's not there yet. Okay, he's not there yet. Okay, and the problem is, normally you let a coach pick his staff. If the staff has Josh McDaniels and Matt Patricia on it, and maybe Joe Judge, would you even let him pick his staff? Because what's the succession plan if and when Belichick leaves? At the most, you got him for what, 3 years maybe, tops? Maybe 4? 3-4 years tops? So who's the successor when he walks out the door? McDaniels, who's a proven failure as a coach. Matt Patricia, who's a proven failure in life. And who is the fucking successor to him? It can't be either of those two, so you have to tear it down again. So you could, because you might make the playoffs and you might have a shot at the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick does not make Atlanta an instant Super Bowl contender. He makes them a playoff contender, and then you got to see about the quarterback. And he can't be that guy. He can't be. So Bill Belichick talked himself out of a job because he will not come down off his perch. He will not stop being stubborn. Okay? And until he does, look, he's only going to get older. You know, and look, who knows what can happen in a year, okay? The Dallas job very likely can open up again. Dallas is in total disarray. Look at what's going on with the players down there, with all the parents and the brothers and the sisters are tweeting on all their things they say. They're ripping Dak Prescott apart. And when you get beat that bad, it ain't just on the quarterback. The whole team sucks. The defense didn't show up either that day. As much as we love to bash Dak Prescott, the whole fucking team didn't show up. Micah Parsons is going from Lawrence Taylor, okay, to freaking Tony Mandarich. Okay, he's looking more overrated by the second because he disappeared in the playoffs. He was nowhere to be found that day. So, and yet it's his family, one of the families, and CeeDee Lamb, his family. I mean, these are the two best players on the team that they're doing this. And Dallas's management has done nothing to put out the fire. So why would you even want to go there? I mean, now again, Bill Belichick has to make a decision. He has to decide what's more important: total control or catching John Shula. If he wants to coach again and just coach, I think he could get that opportunity in a year. I think because Dallas is going to be a shit show, and there's going to be other teams like this. But he's got to go to a team that's ready to win, that has the people, the personnel in place. He can't be built in a build program. It's got to be quick and ready to go. And he's going to have a 2, maybe 3 year window to get those 14 wins. Now, if he goes to the right place, he'd get 11 or 12 of them in 1 year. He could if he goes to the right place. But he's got to swallow his ego. The man has never swallowed his ego. Maybe this year off is a good thing because it'll give him time to reflect, to sit back. And all the guy has to do is come to the realization that, look, every coach needs a quarterback in this league. Now, the league is set up that way. It just is. It just is. There's no getting around it. He didn't set the rules. But, you know, one thing about him, he's always good at adapting to them. So adapt to this, Bill. You know, I believe it or not, I want to see him catch Don Shula. I'm no fan of Don Shula. Okay, he's a crybaby bitch. I've heard him, okay, when he was alive. And I thought he was a great coach. But at the end, he was a bitter, sour pill. And I didn't like what he said because I thought he was out of line. He went too far. So I don't care. I would like to see Belichick catch him. But Belichick has to kind of reinvent himself. He's got to be willing to, and again, Bill doesn't have a personality either. And, you know, Teddy Bruce, he was kind of funny. No, there's a different player now. Bart Scott said it on Get Up Today. He doesn't understand these players nowadays. He's got to be willing to try to adapt to this new generation of players. And again, he's an old dog. Can he learn a new trick? I don't know. I hope for his sake that he can, because I don't want to see him go out like this. As mad as I am at him for the Brady thing, because I said to Sean Darcy, again, I'll regale you the tale. Sean and I agreed, if he wins the Super Bowl without Brady in New England, I'll forgive him. Well, he never did that, so I'm not forgiving him for that. But I also know he was a big part of what happened there for the success. And I'd like to see him get it, because overall I do like him as a coach. As a coach, not a GM, a coach. But he's got to do something that he's never done. He's got to fall on the sword. He's got to look in the mirror and go, hey, man, do you really want this thing? Because if you do, there's only one way you're going to get it. Because there is nobody that's going to give him a total control of an organization. And the name got floated today. And Tom, you're not going to like this, but it got floated today on the air. The New York Football Giants. Tom's team. The O'Mara family has a history with him. If Dayball falls on his face this year, he could be out the door. He was there and had success as defensive coordinator. But if the Giants were to give him total control, I think that'd be a monumental mistake. And if he is to come in there, you got to get guys under him that can talk to these players and deliver his message for him if he's not going to change his methods of communication. Okay, because it's old school, and I'm all about old school, but if you want to win in this new generation, you've got to adapt. You got to bend a little. I don't like it, but it's true. And he doesn't like it either. But if he does, I think the players will run through a wall for him because there's no denying the man's knowledge. There's no denying his ability to prepare a team for any opponent in any situation. The stories of him and the nuggets of knowledge he dropped daily on the heads of the guys that played for him is legendary. Bill would sit there. I think it was Julian. Bill would sit there before we go on film and tell us about something that happened in the game. There it was, and it popped right up on the tape. And then he would tell you it was going to happen in the game and when. And sure enough, it happened in the game and when. You can't deny that. You can't deny that kind of experience. Okay, 59 years in the game of football. You can't deny that. Okay, starting as a ball boy, down for the Navy, Annapolis there with his dad. He's been in the game 59 years from age of 13. Breaking down film with his dad. You can't deny that kind of experience. But he's going to find a way to communicate with and be able to channel that into whatever team if he gets a shot next. And he's got to have some help. He's got to bring in some people that probably played for him. I don't know if Mike Vrabel would ever work under him, but guys like that played for him that in recent past, maybe Donta Hightower, guys like that can send the message to this new generation of players. Maybe that's how he does it. I don't know. I'm trying to throw him a bone here. But it's no accident that he did not get a job. Okay? His ego once again got in the way. And until he swallows it, he'll never sniff that record. He'll never get a shot at it. And the clock's ticking. So I hope that he gets the year off and he goes in and he does some self-evaluation and does make some changes. Look, they seem like major changes on the surface, but it'd be amazed at just a few subtle things like communication and taking the foot off the gas a little bit with this, what they might do for you. And again, players will see that. They'll say, this is a changed guy. He's different than I thought he was. This is not the guy that I read about or heard about. But the knowledge is undeniable. It's there. And that might get these players with this team to play for him and help him get that record. I hope that's what happens. I really do. If he falls flat on his face, believe it or not, I'm not going to take any joy in that. I'm not. Okay? Because at the end of the day, life is too short. And he was a big part of the 6 world championships that are now hanging on one Foxborough Place there in Gillette Stadium. He was a big part of that, and he always will be. So good luck to you, Bill Belichick. Take the year off and come back different. I don't think you got to change completely because there's things I don't think you should change because they're vital to your success. But work on the communication. Work on the need for power. You don't have to have all the power to be successful. You don't. A lot of coaches are successful now. They don't have all the power. Give yourself a chance, man. Give yourself a chance to do this. Because if you don't, you're going to live with it the rest of your life. And you'll have to live with the fact that you didn't get a shot at his record because you were unwilling to budge. And that's the worst way to go down. And I think anybody who's stubborn, and you're looking at a very stubborn person, I can speak to this. That is the worst way to go down. Don't be stubborn. Okay? Drop that, and you might have a shot at this. Believe it or not, I wish you well. That's going to do it for our show tonight. We will return on Tuesday or Wednesday. We will break down, as I said before, the championships this Sunday, the AFC and NFC title games. These should be a lot of fun. And we'll also get you up to speed on the NBA where the Celtics and Knicks are at. We didn't do a college basketball preview tonight because we're not there yet. I think once the football cools down, which after this weekend you'll have 2 weeks, we can start delving into college basketball because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot. This field of potential. Carolina looks like they're back. That's good for the game. Connecticut looks as good as ever. They look legit. This Purdue team might be ready to make their move. There's a lot to look at this year in college basketball. We will delve into all of it. By the way, real quick, Bruins shout out. We are at the midway point just past it. Boston is either 1 or 2 in the league. They had an impressive win the other day. They are currently... Let me bring this up because I haven't talked about the Bruins because I said I wasn't going to talk about the Bruins until the postseason. Because after last year, they pissed me off. But we should at least do an update. The current standings as of, this January 27th. Well, it's now January 27th because now we're in the witching hour. But the Bruins sit atop the Eastern Conference. They are 39-9, 68 points, 5 ahead of the Florida Panthers. They are tied with the Vancouver Canucks, who are number 1 out west at 69 points. So they are tied for the best record overall in total points in the NHL. Not bad for a team that just lost an icon. Look, this is Pasternak's team now. I don't believe he was a part of. In fact, I don't think he wasn't, was he? Pasternak, who is currently fourth in scoring in the entire league. He's a stud. 69 points, 31 goals, 38 assists. He's doing his thing. Brad Marchand wearing that C proudly, 47 points. Charlie Coyle, 41 points. McAvee, 31, a defenseman. And then it gets down from there. But they got 5 other players that are over 20 points. So they've got some depth. And the goalie... real quick, it's Swayman, who he's having an incredible year, 16-3. His goals is 2.3, which I think is number 2 in the NHL. So look, the Bruins are right there again, but it's regular season. So kudos to them for not falling off the map. They're right there. But again, as Bruins Nation will tell you, and again, it's been very quiet because no one cares. Talk to me in the postseason because that's where they've been the biggest disappointment. Right now, they're on pace. They're on pace to take another crack at it. We'll see what they do. But so far, so good. 69 points, first place in the conference, tied for first in the entire league. It's Pasternak's team now. So we're going to see. And by the way, the Pasternak, he has a chance to really, he came around in 2014. He was not on that Stanley Cup team. Pasternak has to get a ring. He has to get a ring. And it looks like, at least on paper, they're going to have a shot to do that this year. So we'll see what happens. But look, they're in a good position. They've bounced back from that awful. They didn't fall off that kind of collapse could destroy a team. And then you lose Bergeron on top of it. They're first place in the entire league. So that's a hell of a response. We'll see if they can keep it up. We will touch base on them again down the road. Again, I don't want to talk about them too much because I'm still pissed at them like most Bruins fans are. But hey, they're in a good spot right now, so I'll tip my cap to them for tonight. Again, that's our show for this week. We will see you guys on Tuesday or Wednesday. Recap of the championship games, and we will have our first look at the Super Bowl matchup. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. And hopefully it's the two teams that I want. Usually never is, but who knows? Maybe one time I'll get this right. So for the redoubtable one himself, who's not here tonight on assignment with the family, highly questionable one, having a great weekend. Enjoy the sports. We'll see you next week. Peace.